It was really important for us personally to develop a purpose beyond just the business purpose to get the business back on track.
I totally agree. And I know you share this philosophy too, Jarek, which is when you are successful in business and you tie your being to your business,
it becomes your identity and
Exactly.
you lose the purpose and you lose the fulfillment, because we are not our business. Our business is us. Only successful people, it's truly they take who they are to the business. We're looking for all those achievements outside us, and all the answers are within us. The blame and shame comes, the not enoughness comes. How does little Michael deal with that?
I think that's just a part of the human experience. Instead of making it out to be a negative thing, I turn it into a positive trait, which is acknowledging your feelings and being open about them. It's not about ignoring your feelings. It's about acknowledging your feelings and moving on from them.
We also have really good examples in both of our lives, and having each other has been incredibly important too. I don't understand how CEOs that don't have business partners mentally do it.
I really do believe when you go somewhere, you get faster alone. There's no question asked, because you don't have distraction, but you get a lot farther with everybody around you.
Welcome to Mastering the Inner and Outer Wealth with your host, Jarek Tadla, where we dive deep into the art of building freedom from the inside out. Together, we'll uncover practical strategies, real-life success stories, and expert insights to help you master your inner wealth and create the life you've always wanted. So let's get started.
Thank you guys for joining me in my Mastering Inner Wealth and Outer Wealth podcast. Today I have Michael Ayjian. I'm doing good. And Stephen Skeel. There you go. Co-founders of 7 Wonders. And go ahead, guys. Go introduce yourself. You know the list. Don't be humble. Don't be shy. Tell them what you guys did. We're gonna talk about the Emmy. That was like there was a good conversation before we started. Yeah. This was huge. I was like, wait a minute. You guys talk about, yeah, we won the Emmy, and like was nothing. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. But go ahead, introduce yourself and tell the audience.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Michael. A little bit about us. Stephen and I co-founded 7 Wonders. I guess we were talking earlier, and it's crazy to think almost 10 years ago now. And for us, it's been a journey, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of fun, a lot of sadness.
So before we go to the ups, talk about the down. What do you guys think was like the biggest break that where you were like on the urge of like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like I'm done. What was do you have like a big losses that becomes like the best lessons, the best failures?
Absolutely. Let me just really quick introduce 7 Wonders for those who don't know what we do.
Perfect.
So we do branded content, commercials, and now podcasting for Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, and now medium and small businesses too. So a lot of exciting stuff.
Oh, yes.
I'd say 2022, the entire year was a really tough year for us from a business standpoint, but also from both of us personally, because a lot of our purpose was connected inherently to the business. And so when things aren't going well, it affects you in your personal life as well. And we had been growing really rapidly. We had hired a lot of people in 2021. We were doing really cool stuff, but we just hit a wall with our business, and certain things weren't working, and it just felt like a monumental task to try to overcome. And so it was really important for us personally to develop a purpose beyond just the business purpose to get the business back on track. That would be it for me more broadly, but I'm not sure if you have anything more specific.
No, I totally agree. And I know you share this philosophy too, Jarek, which is when you are successful in business, and I mean, we're successful to some degree, but you tie your being to your business.
It becomes your identity, and you lose the purpose, and you use the fulfillment.
Exactly.
Because we are not our business. Our business is us, and that's where people confuse this.
Exactly.
Only successful people, it's truly they take who they are to the business. But a lot of us get lost because we identify, oh, I'm a businessman. I'm like, and that's what happened to me when I lost my stuff and I almost, commit suicide, is because if my identity, I'm a father, or my identity is I'm the husband and suddenly I get divorced, or my identity, I'm the successful businessman, and then this struggles, who the hell is me? Who is Jarek Tadla? I lost it, and I lost the purpose and the fulfillment, and there's we as a human without purpose, there's nothing else there, because we kind of like, we're looking for all those achievement outside this, outside us, and all the answers are within us. So how did you guys figure out the it was because a lot of us figured out the purpose and fulfillment through the pain. So you were going through the pain in 2022, then you guys started to really...
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a big philosophy I have is when I close my eyes and I remove every external thing that I am. Oh, I'm a business person. Oh, I have X money, or oh, I have this award. You remove all those things. When you think about who are you, like what is the essence of what you emanate into the world, because those things are just labels that we try to put on who we are.
Yes, sir.
But that isn't who we are. We are something deeper than those labels. We are a positive, kind-hearted, we are friendly, we like talking to people, we're social. Like those are more things when you close your eyes and you imagine like what I call like going down the deep cavern into like your deeper being, basically.
So when you go deep, who is Michael Ayjian?
Ooh, good question.
Wow.
You
set yourself up.
I know.
We want to know who are we talking to right here. Oh, you next. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, some of it escapes labels, right? But the main thing is I like intellectualism, right? Thought experiments. Like a conversation like this is like so much fun for me. I like to share. I like to be open. I like to be around other people and conversate. I just want to emanate like, what if I got hit by a truck tomorrow, what do I want people to describe me as? I don't want them to describe me as anything other than he was a kind person who gave more than he took. If I'm described as that and I was happy and everyone says Michael was happy and it was great always to be around him and we always had fun when we were together and he gave more than he took, to me, my life was a success. Everything else is just icing on the cake.
How does Michael find the inner battle? Because we talked a little bit before about the anxiety and all this stuff. How do you find your inner battle?
My inner model in terms
inner
of
battles, like the inner critics, because because there's always something inside us that screw with us, and we have these voices. And how do you fight those? Because when you go deep, you know who you are.
Yeah, well, and I know we talked about this briefly, but it's about sharing, right? It's about sharing and being honest with other people as well as being honest with yourself, right? The easiest person to lie to is yourself. So you have to start with telling yourself the truth, and then you tell other people the truth, and soon you have nothing to hide. And I'm at the point where I have nothing to hide, and that's something I'm really proud of. And I don't say that as in a false way. People will meet me and say, you're authentic. You are who you are. I'm not trying to be someone fake. If they don't like me, they don't like me. If they like me, they like me. I don't really care at this point. It's not a popularity contest. I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to emanate the qualities that I have in my life and be the best person that I can be. And hopefully the right people gravitate toward me. And that's a big way that I fight my battles.
What about the voice of not enoughness? That's what I wrote the book that like, because I constantly struggle You know, I know now who the hell I am. I really know. Like, you know, I connect with God, I connect with myself, my soul and spirit and my conscious mind are connected. But there's still like, you know, dude, you're not worthy of this. You know, the blame and shame comes, the not enoughness comes. How does little Michael deal with that?
Well, I think that's just a part of the human experience, right? And I think to some degree, everyone's always going to have that. And that's, instead of making it out to be a negative thing, I turn it into a positive trait, which is I want to strive to do more in my life. And to some degree, that's the negative part of doing the positive thing, of doing more with my life. So you've obviously done so much with your life, so many incredible things. That's the double-edged sword. That's the negative side of what it is to be someone. And I'd rather be that person than someone who ends up doing nothing with their lives. So that to me is something that I just acknowledge as a part of the process. And acknowledging your feelings and being open about them helps you to move on from them too. And that's a big thing meditation has taught me. It's not about ignoring your feelings. It's about acknowledging your feelings and moving on from them. So you're always going to have the feelings. You can't hide them.
You know, there's 720,000 suicides every year.
Yeah.
This is huge. It's like cities like Detroit, Denver, they will be wiped out every single year. And, you know, because a lot of guys, they don't know. They like, you know, struggle with the voices. So, and it's funny, a lot of us happens to us is that's when we lose, like, when we lose, like, that's what I'm saying, the identity in the business. Like you guys said in 2022. Exactly. And you guys, like, okay, we got to reinvent ourselves, redesign. Like, it's like, and that's when all the wins start happening. So, and I think sharing, I think that's what we're doing even right now. Like we would never connect it, and just sharing and just helping others, and that's what like this for me is the biggest purpose and fulfillment. So,
absolutely, yeah. Sharing is caring.
Okay. Talk to me about 2022 because we interrupted.
Well, to piggyback off what Michael was saying, the irony for me in my personal experience was, when all this stuff was happening with the business and we were really struggling with financial goals with the business, with programs we were offering to clients and all this not working and trying to figure it out, it was simultaneously one of the best years in my personal life from a relationship standpoint because I got married. And I feel bad for my wife because the first 3 months of marriage were, oh my gosh, the business is...
You're still married, right?
Yes.
So it's good.
Yeah.
You did good.
Yes.
You did good.
But it was a huge blessing that offset a lot of what we were dealing with in our business experience. And that also really helped me center on my faith during that time. And just having, like Michael said, a community, in this case, my wife, to share about what was going on and what our struggles were at that time was really important for us to overcome some of those struggles and also realize that our purpose is bigger than this business. Like the business is important.
The purpose also got to be bigger than us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's because that's what gets you going. That's what gets you get up every single morning. That's what it's like, you know, like people ask me like, what, Jarek, what does it mean success to you? It's like, dude, I'm pissed off when I'm going to bed. I'm happy when I get up in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like, but we need sleep because that's where our body is. But we want to have like, it's like when you find a purpose, it's like it's from within, and you're like, shit, I want to do this. You know, even when we failed, then we still kind of like, hey, that's okay. That's not about us. And then, you know, we take this as lessons.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually funny you mentioned sleeping and waking up. When I use Whoop, not an endorsement of Whoop.
I do orals, not an endorsement. yeah, not an endorsement.
So,
it is, but they don't pay us, by the way.
But when I have been tracking my sleep now for almost a year, and I noticed simultaneously when there's like exciting things happening, when I feel a deeper sense of purpose and being of who I am, my sleep score goes up and my deep sleep goes up and my recovery goes up. And then when I lose that a little bit, it goes down. And there's a direct correlation between your body and your mind. And I think that's a lot of things that people forget is like the mind, the gut. The gut's a second brain.
I really got we talk a little
Yeah.
bit. I think that's our conscious mind. This is subconscious mind. You guys are younger, so you guys got your conscious level is a little bit higher for your age, which I really appreciated. Like being around, like I'm still young. I'm 52. I'm not old. I'm young. I'm young. Okay, I just got reborn. But your conscious level is for your age. I was very impressed, even when we start talking about it. And it's funny how I always say between 20 and 30, the brain is, right here. we guys think then from 30 to 40 is right here.
Yeah.
And then we understand it's really the subconscious mind, the heart, the soul, the spirit. It's like right over here. And when we connect them, because what happened is we can program our head for entire life. And you guys got already. So I have to reprogram my conscious mind and subconscious mind for like 50 years. Yeah. You guys start doing this a lot younger, so you have a lot less reprogramming to do.
Well, we also have really good examples in both of our lives, and having each other has been incredibly important too. Yeah. Like, I don't understand how CEOs that don't have business partners mentally do it, like, because
they have tribes. They really like what I have. I have because I'm alone, and it's funny. And I'm sorry I interrupt. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm alone. I was a loner my entire life because I built this bunker around me so I don't get screwed. Because I was successful very young, and I was alone, and I didn't do well. That's why I almost committed suicide. I didn't do well. I was hiding for so like that. So having access to other people, and then until I built a brotherhood, and I built my inner circle, that's when stopped like I can share it. I can, what I mean? This is like when the first time I shared my thoughts and my depressions, my anxiety, I was scared. I was sharing with one friend, and he goes like, "What are you talking about? That's what I have. Are you talking to me?" I'm like, "Are you screwing with me? I'm telling you my pain and my thoughts." And he's like, "No, that's me." And now I think that. So everybody goes through this shit and nobody talks about it. Like, I'm gonna be the first one. Let's talk about it. But having not only like I just heard you, like not only having partner, but even the way you speak about your wife. Like so you got the support system. Like so I really do believe. Like I tell people, when you go somewhere, you get faster alone. There's no question asked because you don't have distractions. But you get a lot farther with everybody around you.
Oh, absolutely.
This thing, like now I'm getting goosebumps. I want to build like billionaires around me. I want to build everybody, and it's like really there's infinity. It's I want to help 8 billion people. It's like it's bigger than us. Sorry, I interrupt, brother.
No, that's okay. And also beyond that, just our families. I mean, Michael and I, when we started out, we went to film school. It's a lot to trust, paying all this money and.
Did you guys met in the school? How you guys know each other?
Yeah. We met at NYU film program. So we're both from the Philadelphia area, and we were both going to New York.
Right before we started.
That's right.
We had the most awkward first interaction ever, and I never thought, and I don't think Stephen did either, that we would have the relationship that we have now the first time we met. And we just kept running into each other, and we were both from Philly, and we said, let's work together. And then I think we just realized that there's like this commonality. We both like to work hard. We're both focused on our work. We both are just can communicate with each other and want the best for other people too. So I think we saw that and said, let's keep working together. And we've been working together ever since.
Yeah. We were going through a film program where they had these very regimented rules, and we had a great experience at college, but we always felt like, hey, we can do things a little bit differently. They wanted to make films with massive crews and big budgets. And we said, we're two guys. Can we just do this ourselves? Can we pull a camera aside and make our own project ourselves.
Did you have teachers that like you completely hated?
Well,
Or they like grab you the wrong way? I'm like, well, I'm gonna show you.
I actually got in an argument with like a few of our teachers during the classes in front of the entire class.
Did you guys, when you guys won the Emmy, did you just shove it to the head? I was like, look at, I made it. I made it. Which, by the way, I want to get back to that. This is like,
we had a really great experience in college, and we had a lot of teachers and professors that were very supportive of what we were doing. But it was our first project, professional project, as we were wrapping up school, was a short documentary about one of the last surviving paratroopers from D-Day. And I remember we were getting out of school Thursday night, driving to upstate New York, where they had this, the plane that the subject of the documentary actually jumped out of on D-Day. And so we were filming with the plane. We're like, we got to get back to class. We got to drive. Like, we were
driving through Times Square with all the props and everything in the back of my parents' car. I didn't even have my own car at the time.
So it's come a long way since then. But I think the relationship and the vision has always maintained the same as it was when we first met and first started working together.
unbelievable. You guys got it, because what I love is like you guys won the Emmy, and then it was you said it. It was like, no, you said it.
I said it.
It was like nothing. Like, wait a minute, like what?
Yeah.
And then we start talking about how the wins are not the wins that what we expected. It's sometimes when we win, it's like, I deserve this shit. You know what I mean? But also it's like the lessons, the journey. Walk me through the journey and tell me the feeling. Like, what went through your body when you guys?
It was pretty funny that like literally we won the Emmy, and that was like on our goal chart of things to do, was win an Emmy.
You guys have it on the chart?
Yeah, we early on.
You guys are like me, so we have visionary boards. Like, you see, a lot of people, like when you tell people they're manifesting the visual, like why you like? I always had this shit.
Yeah. When we were early on, I think it was probably first 3 years, we had a big bid that we were putting together a proposal for. And we thought we were really close. It was a 6-figure bid, which at the time was like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal.
I mean, we were a brand new business at the time,
And
just out of college.
It's still, you know what? It's still a big deal. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
It's
true.
come on. There's like we cannot forget where it came from. And at the end of the day, the foundation, that's where we go back.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
when we get like we need ego, but our ego is screwing us up sometimes. Well, I'm bigger than that. I don't take the little project, but the little project can get us to the $1 billion, like the huge projects. We never know which project is which, because like, go ahead, go say.
Well, we were bidding, and we were up against another vendor that was also bidding, and they edged us out. They beat us, and we had an advisor who had connections internally at the company, and we said, can you figure out, why did we lose the bid? What happened? And they said everything was the same. And then this other company had won an Emmy for some of their branded work. And we said that's our goal. Like, if that is going to be the differentiator, that's going to lose us a bit. We need to I think it was 8 years later, a long time.
It was a while.
It's not, That's,
it wasn't a quick journey, and man, we worked so hard, and there's all these things you have to do to get an Emmy. It's not as easy as they make it seem. And it's kind of like a little bit of a political game, what category, what clients you work with, all this stuff. So we had submitted, I think it was 5 projects that were nominated, and we had never won. And then we had the one that won, which was actually the one I didn't think would win out of all of them. Of course, that's the way it happens. Not that it wasn't great, but of all I thought there was one that was definitely going to win that didn't win. And
so tell me the one that you thought is going to win, and then tell me about the you thought is not going to win by win.
Yeah. Well, the one I thought was going to win for sure is a documentary we did for like a hospital system about a guy who had like a brain implant, and it helped him like move his body again after a stroke. It was really interesting story. Also, that's the type of stuff I watch, so maybe I was a little biased.
Okay.
And then Stephen can talk more about the one that we actually won for.
So we talked a little bit about it before we started recording. One of our clients was New Jersey Symphony, which is a orchestra based right outside of New York City. And during COVID, everything shut down. They have this massive concert hall. No people can go to it. And so they said, we really have to pivot. And so they contracted with us to actually create a series of remote concerts, essentially, where we would film the orchestra, but not just like stick it, your uncle's camera in the back. It's steady cam on stage and choreographing with the music, 12 camera operators with headsets and music cues and crazy. And so we produced a series of concert films, and several of them were broadcast on PBS. And so that's what we won for. And it was, I'm really proud of that work. But yeah, I think to Michael's point, we thought maybe the human interest story, the really powerful moving story might have been.
I mean, and for me, I remember when we won and I was like, that's cool. And that was my entire reaction. And I actually
What about you, Steve?
I called him like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think I'm a big Philly sports guy, so I always relate things back to that. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and AJ Brown was quoted as saying, okay, let's get back to work now. Like, it's just not the euphoria that you expected. I mean, it's really cool, and we're very proud of it. But now it's time to put in the work. The next day, time to put in the work.
I mean, for me too, it was like I went out to dinner that night with some friends, and we were talking, and then one of my friends goes like, this guy just won an Emmy. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I won an Emmy. I had forgotten about it later that night. So like that goes to show how much thought I was putting into it. It really, after it happened, it was like, okay, on to the next thing. And that's part of the deeper meaning of what we talk about too. It's not, I mean, I'm not taking it away from ourselves. It's nice to have these things, of course.
We need those wins, just to anchor it, and then we know, hey, I'm on a. But the deeper meaning is a lot, like, because there's no awards for that.
Exactly.
There's zero awards for that. You know what I mean? And like we know there's a calling, and that's what you do, and it's like, but not many men finds the calling. How would you guys? I know it's not because I never know how to answer the questions, because I ask the question myself a lot when I prayed, or for a God, like show me the way. How would you guys help men, women, like your generation or even older generation, find a purpose and meaning in life, the fulfillment that, because a lot of people that I always say that the younger generation, we die when we're 25, we get buried when we're 80. How do we, how you look for it? How do you find it? Like,
yeah. You know what's interesting, actually, and I never thought of myself as someone that people would ask advice from. I share openly, and sometimes I think, wow, I'm talking like a crazy person. And then people will call me and they'll say, hey, what you said made a lot of sense to me. Do you mind? I have this situation. What do you think about it? And I'll give them advice on it. And this has happened like quite a number of times in the past year, maybe half a dozen or a dozen times, which I'm so honored when people call. And for me, it's about just transparency. I think that's number one. When you talk more about your feelings, the more you can reflect your feelings off of others, and the more you can feel your own feelings, if that makes sense, versus in your head, it becomes an echo chamber. You have to get out of your echo chamber, get the real world, and then bring it back into yourself. And that helps you find a lot more meaning. At least that's what I've found. Like, a lot of my meaning is around working hard, learning more. I love to cooking, and through that, spending time with friends and family, right? One of my favorite new things to do is make a new meal and have friends and family over and cook for them. And it's a great moment for us all to connect and to be just people, no TV, a little light music, and just have a great conversation and talk openly with each other about whatever. Even politics today, super heated. A lot of my friends, I can have an open political conversation with.
Can.
Yeah. But
I avoid that.
Yeah. But like, it's just because like I try to foster that sense of openness in the room. it's not judging anyone for what they say or anything. It's just be who you are, come as you are, say what you want and what's on your mind, as long as you're not mean to anyone else.
I think that's the most
Yeah.
important, you know, and actually finding environment, and because that's where we really connect with people when you know you're not going to be judged. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be so the voices, and also you have higher level of understanding of other human beings, because when you open up and you feel comfortable, then people is like, shit, yeah, this happened to me. That's really, it's when I become vulnerable, and was the hardest thing for men to become vulnerable is not easy. Is
Oh my God, not
you
easy
know,
at
not,
all.
not
Yeah.
easy at all. And it's like my friends now, like, you know, they read my book. It's like, Jarek, when I'm with you, like, I feel like you're naked. I know everything about you. I really like just spread out all the crush. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I mean, that's the way it should be.
I think that's what it is. So when so what next for you guys? Tell me what next for you.
Well, as we mentioned, we run a video marketing agency, content agency, and we do a lot of really cool work with Fortune 100, Fortune 500 brands. But lately, the thing that we've been really enjoying doing, and that a lot of our clients are seeing a lot of benefit from, is actually this format, running video podcasts on behalf of corporate clients. And that's allowing us to do it for small to medium-sized businesses as well, because when we do these big corporate videos, a lot of times small businesses, medium-sized businesses can't benefit as much from that. The costs are too high, it's too involved. But the cool thing about this format, as you know, running your own podcast, it's really authentic, and it can honestly be beneficial for an entire marketing campaign.
Both of you said it when we start talking about the connection. That's real. You know, the AI is coming. Also, this is like, because imagine, like, we're in this room, the energy is like contained, and it's like I feel I know you guys. You know what I mean? And it's like when you just put something on a video, just goes out. There's nothing out there. That way, you guys, and it's less expensive, and also, you know, you connecting with people on different level. You know what I mean? And it's funny, like I'm in the room with people I never otherwise would be, because like unless we talk about real estate, there's nothing else to talk about. But now I talk a lot about mental health, so, and this goes everywhere. So that's what I'm like, you know what I mean? Huge about it.
I mean, and the cool thing about what we're doing now too is Stephen and I both come from families of entrepreneurs. My family's been in the pest control business more recently, among other businesses. And for me, it was like, why can't we do work for my family's business? It doesn't make any sense for them to get like a traditional commercial or a brand piece or anything like that. How do we like affect people like the people we know for a positive change? And that's really where the podcasting came in too, which is I'm actually hosting the podcast with my sister.
And they're doing a great job. If you want to learn about pest control tips, you need to check it out.
But for us, it was like, how do we help like small to medium-sized businesses along with these giant corporations? Because the giant corporations are cool and they have the cool name and they have the budgets, but we're not like affecting the same level of change as we can with like a small to medium-sized business. Like a small to medium-sized business, we can actually help them like significantly increase their lead and improve their brand and their image and all of those things, which is so cool to us, because that, like we're saying about meaning, like that's giving us a lot of meaning to wake up in the morning and being like, hey, we're helping these business owners, still very successful people, no doubt about it, but it's not this giant faceless corporation all the time. And we can help them. And that's really cool.
And even when we do work with the bigger corporate accounts, there's an opportunity to have more authentic conversations in those environments too. And so it's allowing us, we're doing our own podcast, but we're also running this for other clients. And the amount of authentic connection that we get and get to talk to people on a deeper level that we would not have otherwise had has been tremendous. It's really cool.
Huge,
Really cool.
I have a podcast with this one guy. He was like, 86 years old. He got more energy than me, man. And I'm like, dude, I want you. Like, give me give me all the juices. I want to see. I want to know all the tea, man. Like, I want to know
Trick
what
is
it
this
is.
thing called caffeine.
Yeah. Actually, he didn't drink coffee, you know. But what happened, like he said, for years he always wake up with, he always have purpose. So that's what gave him, like, he owns a lot of businesses, and that's what it's like, being involved and be connected with so many people, you know. And he does, and again, like, don't take anything for granted.
Oh, yeah.
What was that thing that Michael Caron said about lights on?
Oh, yeah. So there's this guy that we know. He's a business
Coach or
like
consultant.
I don't really, I mean, I've known the guy for 20 years now at this point. I met him when I was in middle school. But super nice guy. He was formerly the president of NBC Studios. And he has this saying, which is like, when he meets someone, he says, you either have your lights on or your lights off. So like, you can look someone in the eye and see, are they like engaged in a conversation? Do they have their lights on, or are they someone who's not engaged with life, and their lights are off? And I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it, because there's a quote, I don't know who said it, most men live lives of quiet desperation. And I think that from what I've seen, that's so true. And I see it as I get older and older, and of course it's for women too, but I'm speaking from my own personal experience being a man, which is a lot of men don't have purpose in their lives. And because of that, they just sort of sit quietly in the background with their lights off. And when someone has purpose, their lights turn on. Like you're saying, they have energy in the morning. They can wake up.
But I was like always successful, but I didn't have a purpose, and I couldn't. I was looking. I was hiring coaches. That's why I asked you the question. I was looking, you know, hiring coaches, therapists, like everybody, and it's like, it's not it. It's not it. It's not it. It's not it. I couldn't figure out like what to do. You know, because like by the rules of society, I had everything, but I was empty inside, because I literally lived without purpose till like I was 48, until like when I really hit the bottom of the bottom, I was like, oh, I got to talk about that. Because if I almost took my own life, how many men out there, they have a real reason to be depressed, or have real issues, you know, lost family member, or, you know, got divorced, you know, got bankrupt, you know, have a accident, and they have to live like people that do have a reason. I have zero reason. Yeah. And I always ask the same question, like, how do you guide somebody? Because, you know, like, how do you, because you were fortunate enough, but you were not born with a purpose. You find a purpose throughout your journey, because chasing money is not a purpose.
Well, it's so true. And the other thing, I mean, look, I know I grew up around a lot of really exorbitantly wealthy people. There's a difference between being successful and having a lot of money. And I think that's the one thing that the two things are separate.
Exactly.
And you have to have a certain amount of money to live and to enjoy your life. And I completely acknowledge that. And to that point, you have to make money and do all of those things. But beyond a certain point, you are not more successful if you have more money. It is more about if you are happy, if you wake up, if you have people who love you and you love other people. Are you a good person, or are you a narcissist, basically? And it's like, those questions are the questions that should drive life, not how do we make more, how do we get more, and giving is so important too. And I think that's why this podcast is so amazing.
The more you give, the more you receive, guys.
Exactly.
And we also got to give ourselves permission to receive.
Exactly.
Because we kind of like, no, I'll give it to somebody. No, receive it. Like, you know, feel it in your heart, feel it in your soul. Because a lot of times we just like, we also don't want to receive it. And that's what it's like. Tell me your definition of happiness.
Definition of happiness.
Hard hitters.
That's a hard hitters. I'm going to pass it to Steve.
Okay. We put Steven out there.
I mean, to me, it comes back to my faith. and setting my mind on an eternal purpose, not a ephemeral materialistic purpose. So that's where it starts for me. But to circle back to one of your earlier questions about calling and how we found calling, I think both Michael and I were really, really fortunate that we knew that we wanted to do something in the industry that we're in from a young age. I think we were both like 6 or 8 or even younger when
I was in kindergarten when I picked up my first camera.
Yeah, I was
Really?
I was 8, and my family had an opportunity to go to Italy, and I said, I'm going to make an Indiana Jones movie where I run past the Colosseum.
That movie recently got us a client.
Yeah, actually. So at the risk, I don't know.
Are you serious?
I don't know where we are on time, but at the risk of taking a brief tangent. So I made this movie. It's a 30-minute long movie where I play Indiana Jones as an 11-year-old. And I'm running past the Colosseum, and I'm punching kids, and I'm, whatever. And my parents, who were always incredibly supportive to this day, they facilitated a way to screen it at the local movie theater outside of Philly, and all these friends and family came. Anyway, a few weeks ago, my cousin, who was one of the characters that I punch in the movie over and over, he got married over Thanksgiving of last year, and his family was having a get-together with his new in-laws. And his new in-laws are part of this startup that just got a big amount of funding in the medical research space. Really cool company.
Really cool.
And they like as a fun night activity, they watched this 30-minute, Indiana Jones movie from whatever, 20 years ago.
Didn't even know they watched
I didn't
it.
even know. My uncle texted me, hey, we're watching Doom for the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm like, I said, I'm not there to defend myself,
Yeah.
And we get a call 2 days later. They say, oh, I'm the marketing director at this company, blah, blah, blah. I realized the connection. I was like, I texted my uncle. I said, did we just land them as a client because you scream? And he said, that's what they told me. And I said, oh my gosh. So I don't know what the meaning is of that or what to take away, but I guess put yourself out there, I guess. I don't know. But
it's funny. Yesterday, I did my first live. Mm-hmm. First live. I never done on Instagram. And I truly going like this. Am I there? Does anybody see me? This. And the first minute, dude, like this. Hello, hello. Oh, I'm there. Suddenly, I just disconnected. It's first time yesterday. Like literally, the first minute it was horrendous. And then just went on. And I got so much like traction. I was like,
oh wow,
completely like, dude, like, well, hello. Wait, oh, I see someone. Oh, what do I do here? What do I do? Dude, like the first minute is like that, and then awesome. It's just like, so you never know.
Yeah.
I always tell people, just do it, man. Because the second we start like over analyzing and overthinking and over like being a perfect for us, that's the biggest struggle for our men. Being perfect, it doesn't work. Perfect doesn't work. Just do it from your heart and just that's okay. You know what I mean? But what happens is through life, we have so many people telling you that you're gonna screw up, you're gonna this, and you just take it and you take it to your head and you just don't do it. So
yeah,
but that's a good story.
Yeah, and I think part of what excites me even about like being on a podcast like this or doing podcasts too is how I originally started when I was in kindergarten was in a completely unfiltered manner, and we're unfiltered today, and a lot of podcasts are somewhat unfiltered. And it was literally, I was 6, 7 years old. I would walk around the streets of Philadelphia. I grew up in Old City, the historical area of Philadelphia. And I would ask people, do you like your mother-in-law? Or as a child.
Piercing questions.
Yeah. Do you have wet dreams? Things like this as a child. And they'd be like, and they'd be shocked. And I have videos of me just asking person on person these stories and just getting fun interview clips. And
so you guys always knew it. Like you guys,
mm-hmm.
you guys.
Yeah, but it was a circuitous route, right? Like when we first started our company, I think when we first went to film school, we were like, we're going to be big Hollywood directors. And that's what everyone thinks going into NYU. And then over time, doing the work, putting in the effort, you realize, oh, okay, there's a really interesting avenue down this way for branded content. we never thought we were going to be hosting a podcast, running podcasts, being on. That was not our original plan.
Yeah.
But it, like Michael says, it's fulfilling our original aspirations in ways that we didn't expect initially.
And I mean, goes back to faith too, right? And I did lose my faith, and I've come back to it more stronger now than ever. I'm Armenian, and my Armenian community has become so important to me, and the Armenian community is all centered around the church. So to me, it's become so important to be a part of the church, to be a part of my community, people who I love and they love me, and I feel that level of support. Like, that is just so important. But now I forgot what I was going to say.
About the faith.
Oh, about the faith.
When did you lose the faith?
Yeah, I lost the faith for a long time, actually. I'd say probably about 8 to 10 years I didn't have any faith. I called myself agnostic, atheist. I was just going through a really hard time. It was around middle school. My stomach started to act up, and I was getting sick, nauseous, vomiting almost every day. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was getting anxiety. I didn't grow. I was short. I had hair everywhere. I felt awkward. I had a weird voice. I couldn't play sports. I just had like a lot of physical things that seemed really weird. And then I started to grow into myself a little bit more, but I didn't feel confident with who I was. People were telling me I looked good, but I didn't feel good. So I never had any confidence to feel good. And ultimately, the thing that's most attractive is not like being physically attractive has its thing, but your inner attractiveness attracts people too. Mm-hmm. And like, it's not just one thing. Like, if you're a really attractive physically person, but you have a hollow inside, you're not going to ever attract the right people. So to me, it was like redoing my inside, basically, of like, how do I fix my brain? How do I work on myself? How do I fix my mind-gut connection? How do I read every religious text. I grew up in an Episcopal academy was my school. So every other day we went to church, and then my mom would take us to church on Sundays. So I did 15 years of church 3 to 4 days a week. And just remembering some of those stories and relearning, I started to feel like myself again. It's hard. It's not like I had like some big moment where I was like, oh, but I just started to feel it again. I wear my cross necklace, and I just started to reconnect with everything, my community, my people, my faith, and it's become so much stronger of a thing now, and it helps me feel like a more whole person. So it's not like something that I actively think about all the time, but it's something that follows me.
Because, we are energy, and the frequencies we connect with people, that's how it is. And the word connection came in this podcast, like, I don't know, probably 20, 30 times. Because on the end of the day, that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a really big believer. And if you cannot connect with the higher powers, whatever, like because there's a one God. It depends what, like, my religion is love. That's my religion, you know what I mean? But there's many religions, but one God. And there's no faith. With the faith, then we actually reburn the faith within us. And that's what everything, just like, that comes from inside out, and we kind of are pulled towards the stuff we want to do versus we are pushing ourselves. Like, no, we got to do this way. Suddenly, I just surrender. It's like, God, just show me the way, and I'll be there. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes we don't have the answers. Because like everybody expects us to have the answers, and we truly don't have the answers.
Sometimes,
you know what I mean?
all the time.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Right? But we pretend. Remember, I was always the guy with the poker face. At the end of the day, I think I made it. You know what I mean? But it was truly the poker face. And it's like, I still don't know. I have no idea. I know where I'm going. But how I'm going to get there, I have no idea. I need all the help, all need support and everything else. So so that's like, faking it. Like you told me when we start talking, fake it until you make it. You were never the guys.
Yeah. Well, when we first started out,
you were.
Yeah.
we were working.
Originally, we were.
You were.
I don't know how long we're probably all going to get cut, but,
Oh gosh,
but we were, you know, before we had an office. I remember we were walking down Manhattan. We were in New York, walking down the street. Michael and I, we get a phone call from a business prospect. And Michael's like, we have to pretend like we're in our office. We don't have an office.
We were in college still.
Yeah,
and we were pretending like we weren't in college.
We had cars whizzing by, ambulances. Michael says, hello, like Seven Wonders office. And I guess they were asking for me. They said, oh, hold on, let me see if he's in his office. Michael goes up to a brick wall and pretends to knock on the brick wall.
Shut up!
I don't think we landed the deal. I don't
Oh my god!
Literally right, and there's like an ambulance going by. Didn't they ask you, is the window open?
Just so we know, they don't do deals like that anymore.
No, certainly not. We have 2 legitimate physical offices.
They have a legend.
yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us like where they can find you to find like Instagram, YouTube. Just go ahead. We're gonna put the link, everything around it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But tell us how to find.
Sevenwonders.com.
Okay.
The number 7 wonders spelled out .com. That's how you find us.
Instagram at Seven Wonders Cinema, the numeral 7 WONDERS cinema.com. And if there's interest in podcast specific stuff, sevenwonders.com/podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Go
you.
ahead, follow those guys, and see you next time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights on mastering the inner and outer wealth.